So, morning everyone. We'll wait for another 2-3 minutes as we have more participants coming in. Okay. Morning everyone again. So we'll start now. Okay. Before getting into the session, I'd just like to introduce to what will be the agenda of today's workshop. So this is an introductory workshop. Excuse me. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, so the agenda of today's workshop is to introduce you and give you some basic details about this hackathon. And specifically, today's workshop is related to the third stream of the hackathon, which is the SDR or the software defined radio. So the workshop intends to give you some basic information of what you can expect, in the three levels of the SDR hackathon. What all components could be there. What kind of preparations you need to make so that you have a chance to win the hackathon. So these are some of the basic details we'll be taking inside the workshop, and we'll also give you some details for those of you who have who do not have much understanding of the SDR. So we want you also to participate so you can quickly learn. We still have a lot of time before the level 1 starts, so within that time maybe you can spend some time
अरे वो सिखाने वाले पढ़ा तो सर वही बोले किसी को अगर नॉलेज नहीं होगा तो आप भी आ सकते, जो भी रहेंगे ना तो कोई क्या 2 घंटे या 1.5 घंटे का है लगे 4 लोग।
कौन था? Okay, so just let me rejoin.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Karthik has some technical difficulty. He'll be back soon. He's logging in again.
So can you hear? You're able to hear my voice?
Yes, we can, Karthik.
Okay.
Can you hear us?
Yeah. Perfectly. Okay. So yeah, so we'll just resume back. Yeah. I hope you're able to hear me. Please raise your hands, any of you, if you're able to hear me.
We can hear you, Karthik. I can hear you. At least I can speak for myself. I'm able to hear you.
Okay, great. Because there was some momentary
Yeah,
silence.
momentary break, yes, but now it's back.
Yeah, fine. Great. Okay. So as we're speaking, I will give you some basic information so that each of you have some kind of equal chance to understand SDR and also to participate in all the three levels of the SDR. So some basic details about the hackathon is that it'll have three levels. The first one will contain some kind of MCQ questions. This is to filter out so that only the people who have at least the basic knowledge of SDR can go to level 2. So level 2 will have questions that are virtually on SDR. So there is no need of an actual SDR in your hands to practice, but it will always help if you have an SDR in your hand. So subsequently, in this session, we will also discuss about what are the different kinds of models the SDR is available in that you can purchase it yourself. But for level 2 as such, you're not required to actually have your hands on any SDR device. You don't need your access. You don't need any hardware access because even though it is SDR related, it will all be virtual, which means you can do with your system itself. When it comes to level 3, that is where you're either supposed to solve a challenge that is given to you, or it could be that you'll be given a topic, or you'll be given a theme on which you are supposed to develop something. It could be either of that. What exactly the challenges are is something that will open at the appropriate times. So, and only for those who are who have completed level 2. So level 3 is where you will require hands-on access. The number of participants who have cleared level 2 and has gone to level 3 will receive SDRs from our office. So we will ship it to your home, or your offices, and then you will be able to get your hands on the actual SDRs, where you'll be able to play the challenges on. So that is about how the hackathon will be conducted, or what you can expect inside each of the levels of the hackathon. Okay. Let me also share the screen.
इको ट्रक आया ट्रक नहीं ट्रैक्टर होगा ट्रैक्टर
Sorry, can you please mute yourself, those?
Sahil, please mute yourself. Sahil.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Okay. So as you might be able to see this website that I'm sharing. So if you want to register yourself in the hackathon, you need to go to this website. I'm also pasting the link in the chat box. So everybody should be able to access this website, and you should be able to register yourself to the appropriate domain. So this workshop is only for SDR. In the same way, there are multiple streams in the hackathon that is conducted by our Indian Army. So we have captured the flag CTF as one stream. We have second stream, which is on secure coding review. You can find more details if you want to participate in these hackathons also. So if you want to participate in CTF, which is capture the flag contest, or if you want to participate in secure coding review, or or this particular SDR, the details are available on this website. So you can also attend the appropriate workshops. So these workshops will repeat every Wednesday. So the workshops will not change the content. The content will remain the same. So if you have any friends in your circle who want to participate, you can also give them. So every Wednesday we will have from 11 to 12 the SDR workshop. And in the same way, there are dedicated workshops which are being conducted for secure coding as well as capture the flag. So the dates of which you can find it in the website itself when the workshops are going to be conducted. So I believe we can just go to the workshops tab. Yeah, so you can just check all the events. Yeah. So as you can see, secure coding and reversing workshop. The next workshop, I believe it is on October 24th. I believe it runs on every Sunday. So if you want to know more about secure coding, what you can expect on the secure coding, then you should get yourself enrolled every Sunday 1 to 2 p.m. Or you can just ask your friends if they are interested to come and join those workshops if they are interested in SCR, or they want to go to CTF. So the CTF workshop is here displayed as bug bounty free workshop. So for those who want to get into CTFs, capture the flag Jeopardy style, so they can always go to bug bounty free workshop, so that they can get the appropriate details for that particular stream. Okay. So this is about the basic hackathon, and what can be expected from the hackathon, or how the hackathon is being conducted. Again, the dates and how to register everything, you can find it on this particular website, of which I have already pasted the link on the chat box. So please check, and yeah, please check out the website, and if you have not registered yet, you can register now. It's already open. So registration, as you can see, it ends in 21 days. So you can circulate this information along your friend circle, so that they'll have a chance to come and join the hackathon. So that's about the introductory session of the hackathon. Now we'll move on to the actual SDR session, what you can expect. As I said, level 1 is very simple. It'll have MCQ questions. I mean the process is quite simple. but don't expect the MCQs themselves to be on the easier level. So you need to be well prepared to make sure you go to level 2. So the level 1 will have MCQ questions. Again, the details of which you will get only after you register. So once you register yourself, you will get the appropriate details on how the MCQs are going to be. But we'll be now telling you what you can expect in these 3 levels. So coming to level 1, level 1 will have some basic questions on the SDR. No, if you're a working professional, I'm not sure you'll be able to join the hackathon. It is only for students, and for those who have been getting some kind of training. I mean, graduation or post graduation students and defense personnel only. So make sure you, or if you have any students along with you, then you can just ask them to join the session. It's not for working professionals. So there's no registration fee as such. So if you're a student or if you're a defense personnel, you can join this hackathon. Yeah. So if any of you have any queries, you can always please post your question on the chat box. So this will be an individual event. This will not be a team event. Okay, so coming to level 2 and level 3, as I've said, the level 2 will mostly contain virtual challenges, primarily something related to GNU radio. So you could get something like a PCAP capture or GNU radio captured files, and you are supposed to decode those files and crack the given challenges. So there will be multiple questions posed to you. So based on the question, based on the a file will also be available for you. So you'll need to download the file. You need to crack the file in order to solve the challenge. I'll also give you some basic information for those who have no idea what is SDR. So software-defined radio is that kind of radio which lets you programmatically change what kind of frequencies you want to listen to. And it will also allow you to apply some kind of decoding algorithms directly to the hardware so that you can decode some of the frequencies on the fly. So there are a lot of software-defined radios or the hardware which is available. Each of the hardware has its own pros and cons. Now, what does an SDR is actually used for? So for something like this, so again, there are various configurations in SDR. For example, this is one of the starting points in SDR. If you want to get your hands on software defined radio, and if you have never touched SDR before, then these are some of the entry level devices that you can get your hands on. So you have something called as an RTL SDR. You will have much cheaper versions also. So I believe some of the SDRs will start somewhere between 2,000 rupees. So from 2,000 rupees onwards, you have up to lakhs actually. So depending on what kind of configurations you want. Most of the SDRs on the entry level, they will have a minimum frequency range. They will not have a large frequency range or bandwidth to listen to, and they will not be asynchronous. So and they will only have one kind of frequency bandwidth. You can configure this to either transmit data, or you will be able to configure this device to receive the data. So if you have seen or if you have used the radio, the usual FM radio, as you know, the FM radio is configured to only listen, right? So the difference between your normal FM radio and the software defined radio is that you can't configure your FM radio, right? You can only tune to the frequencies that it actually allows you to tune to. So for example, your FM radio starts with somewhere around 87 megahertz to 108 megahertz, I believe. So if I'm not wrong. So as you can see, in a normal FM radio, you can only tune to these frequencies, and nothing more, or nothing less than these frequencies. And also, that FM radio can only pick up signals, or it can only receive signals, right? You can't actually transmit anything, using an FM radio without adequate hardware change in it. So the RTL SDR is a programmatic, kind of device, as you can see on the RTL SDR. So most of them will have some kind of USB interface, and they will have some kind of input for antenna. Or if you're transmitting something, then you have a IO which you can connect to an antenna. So using this USB interface, you can connect it to your system. As I said, you have multiple softwares for it. For example, you can use GNU Radio. GNU Radio is one such software, which is okay. Let me just come back 1 second. uh, yeah, so this is the RTL SDR, right? As you can see, this one specifically starts at 4520. Again, as I said, it's not necessary that you have to purchase an SDR for level 2. If you know how to use the softwares that are commonly used in SDR, you should be good enough. So the kind of softwares we'll probably be using, as I said, GNU Radio is one that we will definitely use, or you might be using, for the level 2. Apart from that, you'll also be using Wireshark, because there will be a lot of PCAP files that will be given to you, which you will have to decode, and then maybe you'll have to send it to GNU Radio. So again, the workshops will not actually tell you how to use the Wireshark tool, or the GNU Radio tool. So this is where you'll need to use your time to research it yourself, or you can ask. So again, because this is being done for students, you can ask your professors, to help you out with how to work with an SDR, or Wireshark, or GNU Radio, or any other tools. So we do expect you to have this knowledge to actually go to level 2, and then succeed on level 2 to go to level 3. So these are, like, some of the softwares that you should definitely be equipped with. Okay. So on the level 3, you can expect something like a Lime SDR, which is much more complicated one. The difference between the one that I have shown you earlier, that is the RTL SDR, which is an entry level SDR. So as I said, you can either use it as a transmitting device or a receiving device, but you can't do both at a time. So you have some larger Lime SDR, or something like that, or for example this HackRF. So this HackRF will actually let you transmit and receive the data at the same time, and also the frequencies are much larger. Let me also share you the other screen. Okay, you should be able to see the screen. Yeah. So as you can see, you will be given in your hands HackRF1. As I said, for those who have qualified to level 3, we will take your addresses, and we will be shipping you, or we will be shipping you Lime SDRs with you, so that you can practice, as well as attend the final event. So the HackRF1 will definitely HackRF1 or Lime SDR, depending on what kind of challenges you actually get on level 3. You will either get a HackRF, or you will get a Lime SDR. So the difference between, as I said, the entry level device and this one is that this will have a much higher bandwidth, much higher frequencies that it can actually support with. So as you can see, if you compare the RTL SDR, so the as you can see, the starting frequency is 500 kilohertz to up to 1.7 gigahertz. So as you can see, this is good for understanding what an SDR is, or how do you work with SDR, or how do you work with GNU Radio, or Wireshark, or other software tools. But for most of the SDR work, you will need some device, which looks like this, the HackRF1 or something like that. As you can see, it starts with around 1. Please let me know if you're able to hear me. I guess we. Hello.
Yeah, you're audible.
Okay, great. Thank you. So some of you had lost access to audio. I'm sure. I hope everybody is able to hear me. Yeah. Anyway, so moving on, as I was saying, we'll be using Lime SDR for level 3. Please also let me know if you're able to see my screen. As I said, HackRF for the SDRs really let you configure from starting from 1 megahertz, 1 megahertz to up to 6 gigahertz, which means you have much more frequent range, the operating frequency range. So you can do, the 5 gigahertz band, the mobile bands, the 2.4 gigahertz of mobile communications, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, and all sorts of stuff. So again, these most of these HackRF or these kinds of SDRs, they'll also have add-on cards which can boost the frequency to much higher or much lower. So for example, if you want lower frequencies less than 1 megahertz, then you will definitely get add-on cards. So using those add-on cards, if you want to listen to kilohertz range, for example, 100 kilohertz, or I don't think so. It goes less than 300 kilohertz. Most of the SDRs that are available in the market, but the minimum that you can go to is 300 kilohertz. So you have add-on cards where you can put that daughter cards or add-on cards, so that you can hear from 300 kilohertz to up to 1 megahertz, and 1 megahertz to 6 gigahertz is the usual normal frequency of most of the apps. So if you want to go above 6 gigahertz, then again we have daughter cards which can be put up on top of these SDRs, which will let you listen to up to about 10 gigahertz. So 10 gigahertz is 10 to as you can see, 10 to 12 gigahertz is the normal operating frequency for most of the satellites. So satellites or your dish TV or something like that. So most of it, at least for our level 3 scenarios or for these hackathons, we are putting this satellites out of reach. So there will no challenges be on satellite interception or something like that. So it will mostly be communications and other devices which operate between 1 megahertz to 6 gigahertz. So you should be confident that you will not have any challenges which are above or below these frequencies mostly. So both in level 2, there's no requirement of any hardware, but in level 3, there is a requirement of hardware. So you also have to know and understand what kind of softwares go with these hardwares, and how do you actually configure them, or how do you have to actually work with them. So as I said, for level 2, if you can get your hands on generic SDR devices like RTL SDR, or if you can get some better budget, then you have some good devices that you can get your hands on. Again, as I said, it's not a requirement for level 2. You can solve all of these challenges. You can you can use the software without the requirement of this hardware. So if you are curious, if you definitely want to work on this, then it is always appreciated. So most probably for level 3, you can expect Lime SDRs to be put in your hands. Yeah. So as I said, Lime SDRs will be having a full duplex capability, which means at the same time you will be able to receive as well as transmit the frequencies. Okay. So yeah. So I'm just showing you some configuration of the Lime SDRs. This will typically be the configuration that you will also be getting your hands on. So make sure you do your appropriate research and find out what kind of softwares are required to configure Lime SDR or Blade RF, or any other SDR that's in the market. So as I said, most of the open source tools like GNU Radio or other things, they can communicate with wide variety of devices. But since we will be using Lime SDR, which is definite for our hackathons, so you do need to do your research on what kind of software does support Lime SDR. So here, as you can see, the operating frequency of this is, let me just check the details. Okay, so I guess it seems to be on my side. Okay, in any case, so what you need to be equipped with knowledge is that you need to know how to program this FPGA device or this Lime SDR. So as I said, there will be some challenges, and I'm not saying there will be, there could be, because the accurate information is something that you know after you pass out from level 2 and you enter into level 3. So there could be challenges which require you to actually program FPGA, or there could be some programs that are already available online which you need to download and configure correctly. So on the FPGA package, the firmwares are already given for these Lime SDRs. Just check out what kind of firmwares will go with it, and what kind of programming capabilities you will get for these. So what what could the challenges look like is that there could be necessity where you are supposed to make a LTE cell, or you need a 2G or a 3G BTS towers. So there could be some challenges which require you to set your own BTS towers. BTS is basically this mobile communication tower. So there could be some challenges which require you to set up this BTS tower and then latch onto a specific frequency that is getting transmitted, and then maybe you'll have to intercept it, and you'll have to crack the challenge. So these are some kind of challenges that you can definitely expect. So you need to be ready with the appropriate software and the research. So how do you configure these BTS solutions? How do you configure the LTE solutions, which is 4G or 5G? So how do you work with 4G and 5G? What are the bandwidths that are involved over there? This is something that you will also be required to know in order to participate in the SDR hackathon. So this knowledge is going to be very essential, and it is expected you have all of this knowledge. So again, because we have a lot of time for level 2 and level 3, so even if you are not aware much of it. I mean, given the time that is there for level 2 and level 3, you should be able to pick up all of this research and all of this knowledge in the meantime. So it should not be that difficult if you're focused on winning this hackathon. Yeah. So, and some restrictions that we do have, or the disclaimer that we have to provide you as part of this hackathon says that you need to be very sure of where you are using these SDRs. So, because there is a possibility that we'll be shipping you the SDRs in your hands, and you will probably be using it in your office or in your home. So we would suggest you only use it inside your homes and not in office space, or even in your universities, as these SDRs can cause serious interference to regular communications. So which means that if you're trying to set up a BTS tower, then it could actually affect your mobile communications surrounding you. So which means you might not receive any mobile calls, or SMSs, or something else. So unintentionally you would be jamming the signals. So you need to be very careful with operating these SDRs. So if you have a workspace with a Faraday cage, then you can be very confident. Otherwise, you have to make sure that inside your home, you only use antennas which are low dBi, which means that they should not have larger emitting power. I mean, they should not emit large amounts of amplitude, so that the signal should not be expanding to outside your house. So you need to research on what kind of antennas you can use, so that you are confined to a single room, or maximum to the space of your house. So if you unintentionally or intentionally try to broadcast certain frequencies, then you can definitely land in trouble, because this is illegal and it is covered under law. So just make sure that you are very careful when dealing with SDRs, and intentionally or unintentionally you are not transmitting anything on these frequencies. So there is no problem with tuning it to receive the signals, because most of the communications which I mean if at all there are any communications that you should not break into, then they will definitely have some kind of encryption. So of course you're not supposed to listen to any of these frequencies, or break the encryption and then listen to these communications, which will again fall under the regular law. So just make sure that only the frequencies that you are allowed to listen to is what you tune to. So even in the hackathon, the challenges will be I mean, it will be given on the frequencies which are not being used anywhere. So they will be coming from a free unlicensed bands only. So we will not be actually executing anything on the licensed bands. So also make sure you have this knowledge, or try to make, there are a lot of cheat sheets which are already available on the internet. Cheat sheet in the sense, for example, if you want to not cause any harm to this mobile communications, or this 2G, 3G, or 4G towers, so just make sure you have a cheat sheet, or a frequency list. You can definitely get it from try, or Ministry of Telecommunications, where you'll be able to get the complete list of what frequencies we are using inside India. So just make sure you are not tuning your SDRs to those frequencies, so that you don't cause any unnecessary interference. So you can use any frequencies which are not licensed. And also, as I said, you should not use too much power. So I mean, there is a software configuration for most of these SDRs, where you can decrease the emitting frequency. So just to make sure that you're not transmitting anything outside the boundaries of your home. So these are some of the tips that you need to make sure you follow, so that you don't cause any unnecessary confidence. As I said, you can also be sent to jail if you transmit on a frequencies that you don't actually own. So just make sure you don't do this common mistakes. But otherwise, as I said, for listening, you should be able to listen to wide variety of communications. So there is no law against listening to the communications, but breaking the communications is definitely illegal, and it does come under law. So just make sure you're aware of these laws, and you do have the appropriate behavior, so that you don't land in any kind of trouble. So these are some of the disclaimers that I would like to give you out. And let me check if I have anything more on the SDRs. I believe I have covered, and I believe, yeah. So one more thing is, somebody was asking, what kind of antennas you could come into picture. So as I said, there could be different kinds of antennas you might be requiring. Again, this is only for level 3, where you will be getting your hands on to the Lime SDRs. So for level 1 and level 2, there is no hardware usage, so there is no requirement of any antennas. So for level 3, most of the times your radial antennas is more than enough. They will look similar to your Wi-Fi router antennas itself. So in most of the cases, that should be more than enough. But in rare cases, I mean, again, that is something that you will be informed once you pass level 2. If there is any specific antenna that is required, most probably it will be shipped along with your SDRs. You should only carry the knowledge to tune or use these antennas correctly. So there are some directional antennas, there are some radial antennas. Radial antennas usage is pretty much straightforward. You connect the antenna and then the signal is gone in 360 degrees. But there are some directional antennas where you need to know how to point it in the right direction. So otherwise you might not be catching the frequencies correctly. So you do need to do your research, very basic research on what are the different types of antennas available. And if it's a directional antenna, then how do you use that antenna correctly, so that you don't miss out on the frequencies, or you are unable to catch those frequencies. So this is some of the basic information that we wanted to give out to you, so that you can be ready with you can be ready to participate in the hackathon challenges. So again, I'm just repeating or reiterating. So level 1 will have MCQs. So it will contain most of the basic knowledge of SDRs or simple telecommunications. So it will mostly be the questions will mostly be based on radio frequencies. So what are the different types of radio frequencies that are available? What are the licensed bands, unlicensed bands? What are the devices? How do you work with it? So these are all some of the topics or domains that you can get your questions on. So once you pass level 1, you will go to level 2, where you will be using the softwares associated with the SDR. So some of the examples as I've given is GNU Radio, BTS, and the Wireshark, and some other tools. So these are most common tools that you will definitely be using. GNU Radio and Wireshark is something that you will definitely be using. BTS and other SDR related softwares is something that you should be aware of, and you should know how to use those softwares. So because in level 2, you will be given some files that you can download onto your system. You need to know how to operate on those files, how to open that files, how to read the data, how to decode that data, how to crack that data is something that you will definitely need to know for level 2. And for level 3, as I said, level 3 is completely based on hardware or the hands-on exercises. So you need to know how to use an SDR, the hardware, how to use that hardware, what softwares go with that hardware. The exact model number of Lime SDRs will be provided only after you pass level 2, but Lime SDR is for sure. So you can narrow down your research to Lime SDR based devices. So you don't have to go to HackRF or BladeRF or any other device. You can fix yourself to Lime SDR. But as I said, what kind of device you will get in your hands is something that you will be communicated on a later date, right? So this is some of the very basic information that we thought we wanted to give you all. So do let me know if you have any queries. We have last 10-15 minutes left out, so do let me know if you have any specific questions. Okay, sorry, I see some of you are not able to see my screen. You should be able to see my screen. It is already shared. Anyway, so there's nothing much. So as I said, Lime SDR is the one that you will probably be using. Yeah. So as I said, which model of Lime SDR is something that will be communicated to you on a later date. Yeah. So I talked about antennas, right? So typically, as I said, you will mostly get radial antennas only, or omnidirectional antennas. So you can get something like this. So as you can see, it looks similar to your Wi-Fi router antennas only. So there's not much difference between them. So only some directional antennas or Yagi antennas is what you might get, in which case you need to know how the signal propagates. So Yagi antennas are those which, as you know, this is used for low frequencies, usually in the kilohertz and megahertz range. So most probably you'll not be using these frequencies also, but in case if it needs to be used, then it will definitely be communicated and it will be sent along with your SDRs. So yeah, I believe that's it. So please let me know if you have any questions. I do have some questions on the chat box. I'll just go through them. I don't have the radio frequency cheat sheet. You can Google it yourself. So as I said, again, for different frequencies, for example, for ATC communications, which is air traffic control, airport communications, or for example, police frequencies. So these frequencies is something that you need to get holds on. So if I'm not wrong, there is a website under telecommunications, Ministry of Telecommunications only, where you will be able to know what are the licensed bands inside India. So try going to the Ministry of Telecommunications, or try to get some accurate licensed bands. So except that licensed bands, you are free to use any other unlicensed bands. So of course, even in the unlicensed bands, you are not supposed to transmit signal over a certain particular range. So I'm not sure of the exact rules and regulations. So I believe you can get it on the telecommunication Ministry of Telecommunications website itself. Yeah, but as long as you're not transmitting the signal powerful to cross your home, you're good enough. And most of the RTL SDR, or the Lime SDRs that you will be getting in your hands, you will not be transmitting it outside your home. So just make sure you don't buy any antennas which are powerful, and you don't amplify the signals and transmit beyond your house. The duration of each level will be communicated to you only after you register to the hackathon. Yeah. Recordings, I'm not sure, but they should be made available on a public platform. You might get your hands on the recordings of the session. These sessions are repetitive in nature, which means the same kind of content will be repeated every Wednesday, so that new participants who are coming in and registering to the platform will have a chance to understand what is what. So you can attend this event multiple times. There is no fees or any restrictions to attending these events. But yes, this will be a repeating event, so the same content will be repeated every Wednesday 11 to 12. Unfortunately, working professionals are not allowed to participate in this hackathon. This is only for students and defense personnel only. So yeah, you can maybe have a word with any students you have come across or in your circle, so that they can have a chance to participate in the hackathon. And the prize money is about 15 lakhs. The total prize money is 15 lakhs. It will be distributed to participants, so they have a chance to win a lot of cash prizes. So yeah. Confirmation, you should get it immediately or within 24 hours maximum. So as I've given the website in the chat box, I will paste it once again. So please go to this website, enroll yourself, and rest of the details will follow. Yeah. So how can we best prepare for stage 1 and stage 2? So as I said, stage 1 is MCQs. So minimal research would be sufficient for you to cross stage 1. So stage 1, as I said, it will be MCQ questions, but at the same time, it will be in-depth questions on SDR. or something about radio frequencies. It will mostly be on telecommunications. So how different radio frequencies are used in the market. So what are licensed, unlicensed bands. So how do you work with a radio frequency? What are the different types of hardware that is available? So these kinds of questions is something that you can expect for stage one. And stage two, as I said, you need to be proficient in a lot of tools or softwares that are typically used in the SDR. So I've given you some examples, right? Like Wireshark, SDR, GNU Radio, BTS. So there are different types of BTS solutions that are available. So try to equip yourself with that kind of knowledge, and practice with these kinds of softwares. You will be comfortable practicing and participating in the level 2 also. Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah, as I said, the entry level SDRs are available at a very cheaper rates. So as I said, you can search for RTL SDR. Yeah. So as you can see, there is this USB software defined radio which you can get your hands on. So including GST, as you can see, it will cost you 2,279 rupees. That's the starting price, I believe. So the operating frequency, as you can see, is 24 megahertz to 1850 megahertz. So that is 1.8 gigahertz, right? So this is the lowest, I believe, in price. If you want to have your hands on a good RTL SDR, then this could be one. Yeah, but rest of them are quite expensive. So this is the entry level SDR that you can get your hands on. So in Amazon.in, for about 4,500, you will get your SDR, which can operate at a frequency from 500 kilohertz to up to 1.7 gigahertz. And let me check this opening. Yeah. Yeah, most of the entry level will be somewhere between 2,000 rupees to up to 7 or 8,000 rupees. So if you want more than this, then you'll have to go with SDRs or HackRF. So if you want a powerful SDR with good frequency range, then let me just check if there is anything other available. So there is, I believe there should be an HackRF half duplex, which should be available for around 11,000 to 12,000. But I'm not sure if it's available in India. Anyway, so these are some entry level SDRs that you can get your hands on. Yeah. Any other questions, queries regarding the hackathon or the technicalities of the SDR? So if no further questions, you can log out. We'll be closing the session in another 3 to 5 minutes. So if you have any questions, you can either unmute yourself or you can put your question on the chat box. No, unfortunately, you don't have any practice set of questions. Sure, this specific event is only for students, but yeah, we have more hackathons coming up. Yeah, it'll definitely have for working professionals too. So thank you all. We'll be having this session for 2 more minutes. If you have any questions, you can just post it on the chat box. If not, you can log out. Thank you. Thank you for attending the session. Thank you all. Yes, the confirmation of registration would be through email. Yes. I didn't understand J1.
It's 12 hours.
Sorry. So J1 has asked how SDR shall form part of hackathon. I didn't get your question, so maybe you can elaborate on the question. Yeah. So hackathon has 3 streams. I'm just reiterating again. Hackathon has 3 streams. One stream is the CTF, or the capture the flag Jeopardy style, and the second stream is secure coding review, and the third stream is software defined radio. Yeah. So these 3 streams are part of the main hackathon event, which is being conducted by Indian Army. Yeah. Thank you. So if no more questions, then thank you all. We'll be closing the session now.